Assalamu alaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Now this is the third and the last part of our discussion regarding anti-cancer drugs. In the previous one, we have discussed up to now the classifications and the characteristics of some important groups like uh, antifols, methotrexate, and the cyclophosphamide, that is alkylating agents. Now, in this part, we will discuss the characteristics of the remaining drugs like purine and pyrimidine antagonists, plant alkaloids, tetracyclines, anti-cancer drugs, cytotoxic antibiotics, and with some enzyme inhibitors, and lastly, some hormonal agents. Now, first of all, the purine antagonists. Now, these includes actually the most important one. The first one is the 6-mercaptopurine. Remember, it's basically a pro-drug. So obviously, like all, it must be metabolized first of all to its active parts. So the enzyme involved here is hypoxanthine guanine phosphoribosyl transferase HGPRT, abbreviated like that, to the monophosphate nucleotide 6-thionosinic acid. Then this in turn inhibits the several enzymes of purine nucleotide synthesis. Diagrammatically, this we have already seen regarding the alkylating agents and the mechanism of action methotrexate. Here, 6-mercaptopurine analog with obviously 6-thioguanine. Both these drugs inhibit the purine ring biosynthesis and thus the DNA synthesis. From here, it blocks the purine ring biosynthesis. Uses of this group, 6-mercaptopurine, etc. Obviously, the most important we have been talking about ALL, acute lymphocytic leukemia, very commonly seen in young children. Here actually azathioprine forms 6-mercaptopurine, so it may be used for immunosuppression also. Along with, we are already discussing the adverse effects, bone marrow depression. Here hepatotoxicity is especially seen with this group, jaundice and even necrosis of the liver also, along with obviously GIT distress. Then pyrimidine antagonist, the most important was the 5-fluorouracil. Again, it is a prodrug. So obviously it also requires activation to become active and then to show its anti-cancer drug. Now this activation occurs through a complex series of biotransformation reactions to ribosyl and deoxyribosyl nucleotide metabolites. Again, diagrammatically, 5-fluorouracil inhibits the thymidylate synthesis here at this level. The uses of pyrimidine antagonists, they include colorectal cancer, anal cancer, breast cancer, gastrointestinal esophageal cancer, head and neck, hepatocellular cancer, and along with the adverse effects as usual nausea, mucositis, diarrhea, bone marrow, depression, neurotoxicity, etc. And the previous one we were observing especially the hepatotoxicity, but they are here, they are more having adverse effects on brain side, CNS side. Now the plant alkaloids. Important one alkaloids are the vincristine, vinblastine. These are derived from the plant Vinca rosea. As far as the mechanism of action of plant alkaloids are concerned, that is involved as inhibition of the tubulin polymerization. This inhibition of tubulin polymerization disrupts the assembly of microtubules. Then this is an important part of the cytoskeleton and the mitotic spindle of the cell. Now recall this mechanism you had already studied in another important drug. Can you recall that? That was used in the acute attack of gout. Yes, yes. What was the name of that drug? Colchicine. Yes. So anyhow, diagrammatically, these are actually involved here at this level. Microtubules. This one. These all alkaloids, taxane including also, they inhibit the function of the microtubules. Here. Now the uses and adverse effects of these alkaloids. First of all, the vincristine. The most both the vincristine and blastin you have seen here, both are used in the Hodgkin lymphomas. Vincristine is a part of MOPS regime. MOPS is a combination of four drugs: microtamine, oncovine, the other name of vincristine, procarbazine, and prednisone, along with leukemia and Wilms tumor. While vinblastine is a part of ABIT, that's erythromycin, the other name of doxorubicin, and bleomycin, vinblastine, and dacarbazine. So these are also the MCQs and the Viva question, etc. These two types of regime, MOPS and ABIT. So try to memorize it. Along with testicular carcinoma, ecopsoid sarcoma, this time is used. Regarding adverse effects, vincristine is having more adverse effects on the nervous type than neurotoxicity, while the vinblastine is having again the routine bone marrow suppression, GIT distress, and the alopecia. Now, regarding anthracyclines, important ones are doxorubicin and daunorubicin. Uh, Both are broad spectrum anti-cancer drugs. That is why um, it is frequently asked question in the examination point of view. So it is especially against hematological malignancies and the solid tumors. Anthracyclines are important against the hematological malignancies and the solid tumors. This is also an important MCQs viva and short essay question. Diagrammatically again, doxorubicin along with etoposide also. Both these block the enzyme topoisomerase function here in this way and ultimately inhibiting the DNA synthesis. The few more important aspects like uses of doxorubicin, especially in the breast cancer or endometrial, ovarian, testicular, thyroid, stomach, liver, bladder, lung, etc. and cancer of all these sides. Even the soft tissue sarcomas, and it has been used in several types of children cancer, including neuroblastoma. Then Ewing sarcoma also. Please remember this pronunciation. Ewing's sarcoma, not Ewing's. The Ewing sarcoma. Other uses are osteosarcoma, rhabdomyosarcoma, acute lymphoblastic leukemia, multiple myeloma, and both Hodgkin and Hodgkin lymphomas also. Regarding daunorubicin, it is mainly used for acute myeloid leukemia. And regarding solid tumors, it has some sort of limited efficacy only. Now, these cytotoxic antibiotics and the most important drug which we'll discuss only, that is bleomycin. Remember, we are discussing only the important drugs regarding frequently asked question in the examination. Or otherwise, there are so many drugs which are being used as anti-cancer. So all those students who want to get some more knowledge, they should consult the recommended books which we have already uh, asked you to study, please. So anyhow, bleomycin. So it acts by binding to DNA. Then after binding to DNA, this binding will result in single strand and double strand breaks following the free radical formation and inhibition of DNA biosynthesis. Regarding mechanism of action, as we have seen, it forms the complexes with the iron and oxygen, thus DNA strands breakdown occur, especially at the G2 phase. Regarding uses of bleomycin, Hodgkin lymphomas, testicle carcinomas, head and neck, and skin CA, cancer of the skin part. Adverse effects we have highlighted is also pneumonitis and pulmonary fibrosis. This is important regarding again examination of all. Then the blister formation, mucocutaneous reactions are there, along with alopecia and hypersensitivity reactions. As far as the pulmonary toxicity is concerned, it is usually presented as pneumonitis with cough, dyspnea, dry inspiratory crackles on the physical examination at the basis of the lung. And if we examine the chest X-ray, we may observe infiltrates present in the lung part. So pulmonary toxicity. Again, I am repeating, it is very important regarding MCQs, SCQs, and Viva question also. Remember all these adverse effects, these are dose limited for bleomycin. Due to appearance, we reduce the dose of bleomycin if such symptoms starts appearing. These adverse effects especially seen in the older age group, older than 70 years of age, are who have received cumulative doses even greater than the 400 units, are already some underlying pulmonary disease are present in such patients, are those patients who have received before this therapy the mediastinal or chest radiation. Remember, these pulmonary toxicity can be fatal. That is why it is frequently asked question. Dictinomycin, the other name is actinomycin D. It has a beneficial effects in the treatment of solid tumors in children and choriocarcinoma. This dictinomycin binds the double helical DNA and intercalates between base pairs of DNA. Thus, due to this, there is a complex with the greater stability formation. So, remember binding of the dictinomycin that blocks the transcription of the DNA by RNA polymerase. Now, this is a much more sensitive to the effects of dictinomycin. Imitinib, it inhibits an inhibitor of the tyrosine kinase enzyme and thus prevents the phosphorylation as usual, as other tyrosine kinase inhibitors are doing. It is a drug which is used especially for the treatment of chronic myelogenous leukemia, CML. Now, last group, that is hormonal agents. Here we will discuss the variety of hormonal drugs and the groups. Although we have discussed in detail all these things under the heading of drugs acting on endocrinology, but here we will see only the important and the salient features of these drugs. So first of all, estrogens and androgens inhibitors. Inhibitors of both estrogen and androgen. First, the tamoxifen, inhibitor of estrogen. Basically, it's a competitive partial agonist, and it is the first selective estrogen receptor modulator, abbreviated as SERM. So, as I told you, because being a partial agonist, it blocks the estrogen receptors for the circulating estrogen itself, so it acts as an anti-estrogen. It has very lower affinity for the estrogen receptors than estradiol and binds to the estrogen receptors. Thus, it is useful for endogenous estrogen sensitive overactivity. It is an extremely useful for the treatment of both early stage and even the metastatic stage of the breast cancer. It is also used as a chemopreventive agent in the woman at high risk for breast cancer and also used for endometrial cancers. It is given orally and after oral administration it is rapidly and completely absorbed. It has high plasma levels of when within 4 to 6 hours when given orally. So As far as the half-life is concerned, much longer half-life, about 7 to 14 days. Its main metabolites that present in the body also possesses anti-tumor activity, which is similar to tamoxifen itself. It is well tolerated and its side effects are quite mild generally. And it's usually true for all the hormonal agents because these agents are not having those types of adverse toxic effects as we have been observing with the remaining. So, because these are the hormone, so basically their adverse effects will be related to hormonal effects only. So, as compared to other anti-cancer drugs, we are calling this a mild type of adverse effects. Anastrozole, that is a selective non-estradiol inhibitor of enzyme aromatase. This enzyme aromatase is required for the estrogen synthesis actually. So it is effective in some women who are suffering from breast tumors and who are resistant to tamoxifen treatment. Those patients are female will be put on anastrozole. Finasteride. This finasteride, this is an inhibitor of enzyme 5-alpha reductase steroidal enzyme, which is responsible for the steroidal conversion into androgens. And this drug has been reported to be effective in the benign prostatic hyperplasia. Flutamide, it is a potent anti-androgen drug that has been used for prostate carcinoma. Now, let's have a look on the toxic effects of these hormones, both acute and delayed. First of all, the anti-androgens. So they show mild nausea, hot flushes, transit elevations in the hepatic enzyme, etc. Remember these aspects we have already discussed under the endocrinology. Anti-estrogen, especially tamoxifen, there may be transient flare of tumor symptoms or some menopausal symptoms, fluid retention, edema, along with thromboembolic events, and we have also seen increased incidence of endometrial hyperplasia and cancer. So these adverse are important for examination point of view. Now, prednisone, especially the magnestrol acetate, it is producing some acne, bleeding irregularities, headache, along with mood changes and the weight gain. As far as the adrenocorticosteroid hydrocortisone is concerned, because it's lacking the sodium water retention capability, so no fluid retention is here. Edema-like symptoms are not seen with these cytocortisone. However, hypertension, diabetes, increased respiratory infection, and moon phase-like problem are observed with use of this hydrocortisone. Now, gonadotropin releasing hormone agonist. Again, transient flare of tumor symptoms and pain at the site of injection. We also observe hot flushes, impotence, and gynecomastia with these gonadotropin releasing hormone agonists. Now let's have a summary of this lecture. In this lecture, we have discussed the characteristics of the important groups and the important drugs of these groups only. Important regarding the examination point of view, which are frequently asked in the previous exam. Not all the drugs have been discussed. So please go through all these purine pyrimidine antagonists, plant alkaloids, anthracyclines, anti-cancer drugs, certain drugs, antibiotics with the enzyme cytokine kinase inhibitor and the hormonal agents. So thank you very much. Allah Hafiz.